like practicing increasing your vocabulary, using very specific words, you know, those are just some things that I find helpful. So cruising along here, I know I'm shooting out a lot of information. I hope y'all got your notebooks ready. The next one is non-attachment. So just not being overly attached to the outcome of your thing. I mean, really not being at all attached, but you know, we're humans. We're going to want, if we post something that we put a lot of energy into, we're going to hope at least some people engage with it. But, you know, I find that our little like wounded inner child that we all probably still have can get really like hurt sometimes, but you have to learn to like have other ways to nurture your inner child than getting like external validation, you know, because these shadow elements can like creep in if you're too attached. You know, like there's Instagram models, for example, that'll post photos of like their bikini or whatever, and they usually get like 4,000 likes on it. But like one day they might post a photo, maybe they posted at a weird time when no one was on, and only like 300 people like it. There's a lot of Instagram models that will take their post down because only 300 people liked it. That's going to make them look like they have no followers. And like, it's just bizarre, you know? But this relates to the fact that it's important to be firmly grounded in the fact that you are already a perfectly okay person and you don't need to be validated by the world to affirm that. It's nice to be validated by the world, but you don't want to be in a place of needing that where you're like totally deficient if people don't like your thing or whatever. You know, like that's really the difference. Like all of us enjoy, I mean pretty much everyone enjoys when we're connecting with the world. Like that's what our purpose is here to do. You know, you don't want to be on like this there's some people that are in like this like spiritual world where they're like, well, that guy is making YouTube videos, so obviously he's so in his ego. Look at him, all ego centered. When it's like, dude, we all are humans. We all have an ego. Like, we're meant to like share our message and make an impact on the world. We're not meant to like, I mean, most people, in my opinion, are not meant to just like sit in a cave and pretend like they don't exist. Yes, reality is weird and kind of a dream that is ephemeral and whatever, but we're in it right now. We might as well play it and make it like the best dream for everyone. That's kind of my mission. So anyways, don't be too attached to the outcome of your post, but that doesn't mean to not do it. That means like put your full effort into it. Like Ram Dass says, like put your full effort into your dharma, your path, but don't be attached to it. Like it's not really in your control, the outcome, but you should still put in a lot of effort um to doing it, you know. Okay, we still got a few more things here and then we'll do questions. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. So the next one is engaging with people. Finding ways for finding ways finding ways to engage with people. You know, at the end of your story or post, whatever, I always recommend having like a call to action. Like, okay, you read my story, this was interesting, like I encourage you to now go give people free hugs, or you know, do this and this, because people are going to feel usually inspired by your story, and that's a chance to like spark them to like do something new. So having some kind of call to action at the end of your post is helpful, or maybe like a question, like some way to stir a conversation where people can then comment on it and you can engage in the comment section. But I also will share, like, you don't necessarily have to feel obligated to reply to every single comment if a zillion people comment or whatever. But that's a nice way to like start conversations across the freaking planet through posts, and also comment on other people's posts. And lastly on this list, and then we'll do the questions because I feel like this is a quality download. you want to make your posts potentially shareable. So it is nice to share personal stories, and sometimes people do share those, actually share them a lot actually. But if you sometimes make content that could potentially be shareable, then that will spread to a lot of people outside your network. So just meditating on what inspires, what kind of stuff do you like to share, things that are funny, things that are really fascinating, really cool pictures, etc. If you include those kind of things in your post, then it's more likely that other people will share it. And if you're doing some kind of mission that's more than just yourself, more than just your bikini picture on the beach or whatever, then people are going to be like, oh, this person's part of a bigger mission. I want to help with that mission, so I'm going to share their content. So yeah, I'm going to stop there for now. I will just say that you know I was inspired to do this webinar as part of this whole new phase that I'm in. I basically spent 4 years writing these 2 books, and I was kind of in a somewhat phase of hibernation. Shout out to everyone. Tessa, my friend, just said she got her books in the mail. She ordered these books from me. Yeah, these books basically summarize my whole philosophies on life. They're kind of like an external hard drive of my brain, and I love them so much, and I'm super happy that I co-birthed them with millions of other people that influenced their creation. But anyways, I published those last year, and so I'm now in this new phase of doing more like kind of group classes and webinars like this. And so I'm going to be leading a group online course coming up in January called 2020 Vision. And it's going to be a 4-week course where we'll meet once a week through this online video platform called Zoom. And we will work on these things. Like, a big part of the class is to help each participant to start beginning their own, or either beginning or enhancing their content creation, so they or you can bring your message more into the world and broadcast it to more people, whatever your mission is, or your business or your podcast. Like, I will help you implement these tools to reach more people. And I've literally connected with thousands of amazing people all over the world through doing this. And I want to help other people experience that, because it's awesome, firstly, but secondly, because our world freaking needs it. Like, our world needs us to step up as leaders. And I really feel inspired to help other leaders spread their message. So if you're interested in that, it starts January 8th. And I can send you more info if you send me a message. There is a Facebook event page. I have a video about it online, and a whole kind of web page explaining the whole blog. I'll post it here in the comments if you want to check it out. But the course is going to be awesome. It's truly amazing. Like, I've led one of these courses before back in 2014, and it changed my life. And I know it really enhanced a lot of other people's ability to spread their message to the world. So that's starting January 8th. I'm pretty freaking excited about it. And I'll also be sharing about kind of the 6 pillars of a holistic lifestyle that I think are foundational to doing anything powerful in the world. You have to have healthy sleep, healthy diet. You have to be doing some kind of exercise and movement regularly. You have to focus on healthy personal relationships, having some kind of life mission or life purpose that's fueling you, and also a foundational connection to nature and to Mother Earth. Those are the 6 foundational pillars of a holistic lifestyle that I'll be teaching and helping you implement more into your life, so that you can have like your basics covered, and then be doing what you love and are passionate about more in the world. So if you're interested, please send me a message. I'll be happy to connect about it. Starts January 8th. So, and it relates to all this stuff. We're going to be doing specific practices of like, journal or assignments where each person in the class will be assigned to write a specific story about a topic. Like, for example, the first prompt is going to be about like random acts of kindness. Like, write a story about a random act of kindness that you experienced in your life, or a fictional not random act of kindness. But it'll be like a fun exercise for people to start practicing their storytelling abilities. So that's a fun example. Anyways, yeah, Robert just shared a little thing here. I'm going to scroll up here. So my friend Robert said, a woman just pulled up next to me in the parking lot to offer me food because I'm traveling in my car. And she started encouraging me to start a YouTube channel to generate money on the road. This was playing in the background the entire time. I told her after the fact. See, that's the wild synchronicity of this universe. Like, we're all interconnected. And as you start to live a more spontaneous life, the algorithm of the universe becomes more apparent to you. Like, as you go outside your comfort bubble and start doing weird things, you'll encounter the craziest synchronicities. But if you stay in your little comfort zone and never put yourself out there, then you don't really experience very much synchronicities because you're not like testing the universe's magic. So, yeah, I encourage you to put yourself out there online and in person. One other very practical tip I will share is that on your profile page, to make it so that people who, well, I honestly, some people aren't comfortable doing this, but I want to like push people out of their comfort zone. I think we all have to not give a shit what weird like family members are. I mean, not weird. I love my family, but to not care if our family sees us posting about, sexual healing or whatever the topic is, because like, we're not here to be caged by other people's limited perspectives. We're here to share what's real for us. So I think that's something a lot of us have to get over. And so to like put your profile on a public setting so that anyone can see your content, and then like on the edit profile, like the sidebar of your page, and this is if you have a laptop. I don't know exactly. I'm sure you can do it on a phone too, but to put like everything about you public, like your hometown, your your website, if you have a website, how many followers you have. Like, how many followers you have doesn't really matter, but it's helpful to have a few followers ever, so people who may be interested in connecting with you see that like you're a public person, you're sharing things out there, you're not just like hiding in your shell. So those are just some super simple tips. But anyways, does anyone have any questions? I know we're almost at 90 minutes here. I'd be happy to answer any questions related to any of this. Let me just look through some of these comments. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, y'all. This is fun to share. Yeah, anybody got any questions? Hit me up. I will say that Tessa, also known as Naga, asked me for a PG-13 joke. So let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Well, trying to think of one. Nobody has any questions? Y'all look like you're staying in your shells, pretending like you're not watching this. To be honest, I love like one of my favorite things to do, which I should probably do more, is like, so I've like cataloged all the like socially conditioned thought patterns that I find running through my brain, and then I like give them sort of names and personalities. I call them the mental advisors, and I have them all listed in my books. And so there's like, worrying Wanda, frustrated Frederick, starts talking whenever I start to get frustrated. Hurrying Harriet, like all these different names that I give to these little thought patterns. But I feel like sometimes I just like to like call out the potential thought patterns that are like running through your head, because we all have them. Um, I don't know exactly, but I feel like so many people are scared to. I'm not saying you're scared, but I feel like a lot of people just don't want to put themselves out there because they have these limiting thoughts in their head. And I think that's one of my primary things, is to like try and shake that up a little and be like, look, you don't have to listen to those limiting thoughts. You're here for greatness and a beautiful purpose, and I want to like help you come out of that. So Tessa says, any energy work you would maybe recommend for anyone diving into all this social media transparency? Okay. That's a good question. I mean, I think that definitely energetically being grounded and solid in yourself is very important. So that goes back to those 6 holistic pillars that I have. If you're an empathic person, which I certainly am, then sometimes it can be challenging to be public on Facebook. I've gotten plenty of weird comments of people like sending me kind of weird energy and stuff. And it does affect me, but like that's how you grow. Some people say it's like haters are like um, haters are like snake venom. You have to like take a little dose of it, and eventually you become kind of immune to it. And I think that is somewhat true. I think you build up a tolerance to it. You don't necessarily become immune to it. Like if someone says something really mean to me, it still does kind of hit me. And most people say like you get 60 positive comments and 1 mean comment, you only remember the mean comment, which is often the case. But I think that those experiences like um, they help us to like solidify our truth on a deeper level. Like maybe somebody says like, "Oh, you're just faking it. You're not yeah, like someone might say, "Oh, you have some weird hippie shit going on over here, boy." That's what Jason put in the comments. Yeah, people might call you a stupid hippie or like a spiritual whatever, but like the key is for you to be so centered and grounded in your truth that like those things kind of like bounce off of you. And in order to do that, you do have to be grounded in yourself. So like I'm really big on, you know, intense physical exercise and like really building strength in your physical body, because when you build muscle, that's like your armor, and that's how you actually anchor like higher heavenly energies into the physical realm, is being like solid in your body. And Tessa said, want to hear more about clearing channel between heart and throat. So yeah, basically the key is like being grounded and solid in yourself, eating good, nourishing food, getting enough sleep. I'm really big on connecting with Mother Earth. That's like how I stay rooted and grounded. I go barefoot all the time. Even though I was just out for a minute in the snow, I usually only do a minute or two if it's snowing, but you know, feeling a connection to Earth and to your lower chakras is crucial to being grounded. Um, and I will just briefly say, my radical honesty, like having your lower 3 chakras grounded and activated obviously includes some kind of sexual energy. And so being in tune with your sexual energy, whether you're self-pleasuring or have a partner, or maybe you're just channeling it all into creative projects or whatever, like you have to be grounded in your lower chakras in order to be solid and create ripples into the world. So so we also got a question that says, connecting the heart to the throat, I think that a lot of that requires channeling your inner child in kind of meditation or journaling, because a lot of us have like repressed feelings within our stuck within the tissues of our body. Like I give the example that we're like shaped like an onion. Every year of our life is like a layer of the onion. And so if we repressed a bunch of energy when we were 8 years old, a bunch of emotion, then that energy is stuck deep within our body, and we have to like figure out ways to release that. So, I have some different exercises for channeling your inner child to release those old feelings of anger, sadness, whatever emotions you repressed. If you have to like clear out the debris from the past in your energy field so that your heart can easily flow through your words. And that also includes like feeling safe. If you don't feel safe to share it publicly, then you probably have to investigate what times as a kid you were like shut down, and do some kind of like revisiting the past so that you can heal that piece of your inner child. That's been a huge part of my journey for the past 5 years, healing my inner child. It's definitely an ongoing process, but I know that I've made enormous progress. Let me just look at these comments here. So Andrew says, do you have any advice for offering your fullest self and finding the people who can be helped by what you offer? I do. I think, Andrew, I think you tuned in after I had shared a lot of that. So I definitely invite you to check out the playback. But I will just say that the general gist is that you have to consistently put yourself out there to the world, sharing your message or project consistently, and to be kind of a public persona with that mission. And there's many different ways I listed before of how to do that. Starting a YouTube channel, starting a podcast, joining lots of groups that relate to your issue is a great way to do it. And also just friend requesting random people you find online that seem interesting, and just becoming friends with them, starting conversations. It's fun. Like, I really think a lot of this, a huge key to all this, is just like stop taking ourselves so seriously. Stop taking ourselves so seriously, but simultaneously like take our mission more seriously. Be like, I don't really care. Like, I'll just share with you guys, like, I have like different color hair in my little whiskers here, so sometimes it looks funky. And I'm like, dude, is it longer on one side or the other? Like, I can't even fucking tell. But like, I really don't care at the end of the day. Like, yeah, it might look a little weird. Yeah, people might think I'm like 12 years old. I don't really care, because I'm just being me, and I'm just like sharing what I'm passionate about, and I'm just gonna keep doing it. So uh, I don't know if that answered the question exactly, but yeah, there's a lot of ways to share yourself publicly. I recommend watching the playback, Andrew. Okay, so Shanti says, yeah, it can be triggering to share, I guess, publicly. I don't really have same shyness with sharing online as I do when I'm speaking to 100 people in person. I feel like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you're in person, um, Jason's giving me some comic comments here. Um, Sharing. So yeah, when you're in person, it can feel a little bit easier to share sometimes. But if you practice being authentic and vulnerable online, it's helpful. I mean, you don't have to put everything out on the table. Like, I do think it's important to have some of your own private life and decide which things you want to put online and not online. Like, that's totally okay. But making telling your authentic story is really beneficial to a lot of people. And it can be profound medicine for people. Like there's people out there that have really sent me some powerful messages, like saying that they were really having a tough time and it meant a lot to them that I, you know, replied to their comment or talked about whatever issue was troubling them. Okay, so Andrew says, so would you say it is more about loving what you do and dissolving your fear of failure? Yeah, I would say that's a big piece of it. Um, the bottom line is that we have incredible tools at our disposal, and like everyone who's out there thinking like, oh, maybe this stuff I'm thinking about isn't that important. Like in the last 10 years, the interest in all of these like alternative topics has like skyrocketed exponentially. When I started on YouTube in 2010, there were hardly any videos about, I don't know, quantum consciousness and X, Y, and Z and weird stuff. I mean, people were talking about it, but there wasn't that much online. Now there's like entire YouTube videos with million subscribers, all dedicated to like quantum reality and stuff like that. And there's tons of those. Like the consciousness revolution has absolutely exploded in the last 10 years, and it's only going to continue. So like if you're watching this video now, consider yourself at the beginning of a whole nother curve of the unfolding, and there's going to be millions upon millions of people waking up in the next 10 years wanting to learn more about this stuff. And you don't have to be like the biggest expert in the universe, but like if you're knowledgeable about this topic, then you can be helpful to somebody else. Like you don't have to have like a freaking PhD in whatever to help someone through a tough time. So that's my general feeling on that. But yeah, dissolving the fear of failure is crucial, and just feeling empowered regardless of what happens. Any other questions before we wrap this up? Oh yeah, I haven't. Yeah, Tessa says, I used to be addicted to quote unquote protesting outside McDonald's, like fighting the world she doesn't want to create. But then she tried going to conscious music festivals instead. And yeah, I think that the festival scene is really, especially what they're called the transformational festivals, are really like the cutting edge of the new paradigm. I highly, highly recommend everyone check out something on YouTube called the Bloom series, all about transformational festivals. It's a 3-part documentary. They've done 3 of 4 parts. Transformational festivals. So if you want to learn about like the new, it added Pyro Music Festival. If you want to learn about like this cutting edge of the new paradigm, I highly recommend learning about transformational festivals, because it's basically like 1,000 people come together and they're experimenting with living in a new state of like cultural norms, where people are a lot more loving, a lot more creative, doing art projects, sharing knowledge and workshops. Obviously, there's a lot of work to be done, and some places are, have a lot of different kind of shadow aspects with drug addiction and whatnot, but there's a lot of magic in transformational festivals. So I definitely recommend checking them out. And yeah, it's a great way to get your feet wet into creating the world that you want to live in. I know like a zillion festivals. If you're looking for a festival in your area, I think there are some websites that have a listings of all the festivals across the world. Okay, Robert says, I think it is appropriate to share here. JP Sears has a hilarious and encouraging TED Talk about how valuable your unique, weird personality is. I'm working on loving myself and feeling my worth. Yeah, JP Sears is a huge inspiration for me. He definitely pushes the envelope in a lot of different ways, but I think a lot of us need that. So yeah, just embrace your weirdness, everyone. Like, It's okay to be like, that's what makes us cool, is that we're like snowflakes of the universe. We're very unique creatures. And so we're not meant to like fit in with everything else. You know, we're supposed to like be so in tune with our inner truth and share that. Okay, Bloom. Sam says Bloom is so good. Yeah, I agree. Jason says, I love all this work you bring to the masses. Masses. My question is, are you planning on bringing out more poetry in 2020? Maybe a music video. Yes, the answer is yes. I'm working on a whole new album. I don't have a copy of my album with me right now, but I recently did like a compilation album, which is called Evolution in Motion, which is a combination of singing, beatboxing, and my spoken word, also known as flowetry. And I'm going to definitely create more of it. So thank you for the encouragement, Jason. Tessa says, play is a wonderful way to recharge and not get too obsessed with the outcomes of your work. That's my view right now. Yes, play is very important. I totally agree. And I'm going to wrap things up here. So I will tie that right into the fact that, as I mentioned before, I'm learning, or I'm leading this course coming up called 2020 Vision, a 4-week online program starting January 8th. And it is going to have a very playful energy. We are going to be, lighthearted the whole time, but I'm also going to encourage people to really focus on what their goals are, focus on being disciplined in certain ways, because that's really the key to creating the life you want to live, is having that balance of like playfulness, but also seriousness and dedication. So I'm excited about the course. Hope some of you watching will join us. Please send me a message if you have any questions. Jason said, can you share a link to the music? Of course, I will do that. 1 second. Yeah, and Tessa asked for a joke, so I'll share. So I have like 100 jokes memorized. Most of them are all recycled jokes, but I have come up with a few myself. So this one is, why do ancient Egyptians like to fart at the exact same time? So that they can toot in common. I've realized that some people don't know who Tutankhamun is, the official name of King Tut. So that's that. When you have to explain your jokes, they're bad. But no, I love lame jokes, and I'm an advocate for the joke revolution, trading jokes with everyone everywhere you go. That's the way we're gonna heal the planet. Remember that you are the medicine, and that your story is valuable and important and magical. And if you don't think your story is that important and valuable, it is, but you can also make it much more magical and valuable by going out into the world and creating crazy, awesome experiences and traveling to new places and learning new things. So that's the message for today. Thanks for watching. Keep sharing your story with the world. Please hit me up if you have any questions or comments. I probably won't answer them all tonight because I'm about to hang out with my friend, but I'll answer them pretty soon. And stay spontaneous. Stay awesome. I'm sorry. Well, not sorry, but shout out to anyone going through tough times. I know winter is sometimes a tough time. I go through my tough times all the time, and that's okay. And yeah, let's see here. A few more comments. Thank you, Sam, for tuning in. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Shanti. Thank you, Naga. Thank you, Jason. Okay, joke. One more joke. Oh, yeah, I've heard this one. What does the hippie say when you ask them to leave the couch after they've been there too long? Namaste. Yeah. So, yeah, this has been fun. Please share this with anyone you think might be valuable. And Scoobly doo. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Peace.